All right, good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming for the building tour. The first portion will be the building tour, and then the board meeting will start at about 6:30. So as I'm taking you through the building, we're going to try to hit all the highlights and show a lot of the awesome things that's going on here at York, as well as some of the areas that are a little bit undesirable, but that's what we've been working with, and that's what we're using as our learning spaces right now. So as I'm going through the building tour, if you have questions or have anything that you need addressed, please ask that as we go through. As you see, the very front entrance of the building, as you come in door one, you pass kindergarten classrooms. So that is a significant safety concern in 21st century school building setup, because of the fact that the very first entrance, that when you come into a school, typically you like to have it as the office. But our office is down on this side of the building, and like I said, you pass kindergarten classrooms to get to our office, so the safety aspect there is a little bit concerning for us, for sure. So, and then this is the office. The front part of the office is Mrs. Horsentroober. She's our secretary here, and then my office is in here as well. So this whole section here, this wing of the building, is our kindergarten classrooms. Like I said, we have 2 kindergarten classrooms here, and then we have 3 kindergarten classrooms as we go down this hallway here. I do want to point out that Miss Fanny Reinhardt Garcia, she is our English language building interpreter, and she works with a lot of our students to build language skills and to teach them vocabulary. And she's out here in the hallway. I would like to have her in a space where she could pull students where it's a little bit more quiet, because we have the commotion of parents coming in and dropping off and signing out. That gets a little hectic. So her learning space for the students that she pulls is right here at this part of the building. And that's the common thing you're going to see as we go through the building, is tables in the hallway and for extra learning, because this building is really built, when it was constructed in 1941, it was really built for about 144 students is what they expected to have here at York Elementary, and we're at 212. We're at 212 students, so we're well over of what this building can truly handle space-wise with students. So that's why, as we go through this tour, you're really going to see some of the creative learning spaces that we've had to make over the last about 5-6 years to accommodate all of our students here. So we are going to actually go outside first. I would like to show us the modular. We use that for our title reading teachers, as well as our library, and our speech pathologist is out there. So we are going to go out there, and then we'll come back in the building, and we'll work our way down eventually to the first grade hallway and show you some of the places and learning areas that we've built over the last couple of years. Like I said, this is really informal, so if you have questions or have comments about anything, just go ahead and shout them out as we go. This one has been here for about, I'm gonna say, Mrs. Lundberg, this was here well before you started here, right? This modular?
Correct.
Yeah.
I've been here 9 years.
I'm gonna say probably at least 14, 15 years at least, for sure. Yep. All right, come on in. So this area is where 4 of our, what we call our reading Title I teachers work at, and they pull students who are at risk for reading in small groups, about 3 to 4 students per group, and it gets a little chaotic out here. Mrs. Palma's with us here today. I'm sure she can attest to this, that when you have such a small area to pull for small group reading instruction, it can get a little hectic, for the fact that you kind of hear what's going on in a lot of the other groups, but there's really no other space for them. There was 3 title teachers out here. we added a fourth one this school year, and we had to put her out here as well. So a little bit crammed out here for our Title I reading teachers. Yeah, and I was out here listening to some of the awesome learning that was going on last week, and it was so distracting for me because I was with this group over here, and I heard what was going on over here, and you can hear what they're doing over there, and it gets really crazy. But due to the space, it's hard to find the areas for them to do it and do it well. So
that'll hit the old ADHD kids hard.
It makes it tough. It really does. Yes. So this is, like I said, our 4 title reading teachers out here. So hello, welcome. Yeah, feel free to loop around if you wish. Like I just got done saying, this is our title reading area for our 4 title reading teachers out here. All right. We'll go next door to the next modular, and in this section is our library, as well as where our literacy classes are at with Mrs. DeBacco. And then we also have Mrs. Meckling, our speech pathologist. She works with our speech special education students. Her section is also out here. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you guys can head on in there. Once again, you're going to hear me say this a lot on the building tour. Due to space and due to lack of space, our library is out here, and students come out here once every 6 days to check out new library books. The bad part is, and the issue that we run into is Mrs. Meckling, like I said, our speech pathologist, is also out here. She's in the blue tent area, so to speak, and she works with, like I said, our speech students who have some speech sound production problems. So you can really see how this would go with library going on out here a lot of the days, as well as her pulling students to work on their speech and proper speech. And those days oftentimes overlap. Sometimes it doesn't, but like I said, due to the space, they oftentimes do. So she's also trying to work with those students, and students are out here trying to do stories and check out new library books. And this is another problem area because of the fact that it gets loud, and when you need a quiet area to work at, it just doesn't quite happen. So, and for the fact that we're traveling in and out of the building so much, I mean, with the weather and the time wasted to get your coats on and come out to the library, it'd be nice just to have that in the building, but there's nowhere to put a library like this inside the building. So, fortunately, we're due to have it out here in the modular. Any questions about the library or the speech area? All right, well, we'll go back into the building then, and then we'll do the tour of the building. Good, how about you? Thanks for coming, yeah.
I go here every day, I know about it.
Oh. Make sure you have the questions. Smart guy.
Like I said, this is our kindergarten section of the building. There's 2 kindergarten classrooms there, and then there's 3 kindergarten classrooms as we go down this section of the hallway. Well, we'll go ahead and take a step into one of our kindergarten classrooms just so you can see. And Mrs. Lundberg's actually with us. She must not made it back in yet. This is her classroom. So.
What are you doing here for it?
Little
That's one thing you will notice as we go into some of our classrooms. The teachers do a really nice job of, making sure it's welcoming and has some nice colors and to show off a lot of the awesome student work that's done in the classroom to make the students feel proud about the work that they're doing in the classroom. So this is just one example of a kindergarten classroom. But one nice part about a lot of our classrooms that we do have at York is most of our rooms have exterior exits, so they have doors straight to the outside. So with fire drill, or if they would ever need to evacuate for whatever reason, there's for most of the classrooms there's exterior doors to go straight outside. So that is the nice aspect about York in case it was an emergency. Mrs. Lundberg, anything else to show off in your lovely classroom? I was just showing how welcoming and inviting it is, but like I said, the students enjoy the classrooms when it's decorated so nicely and looking appealing. So
yeah, we do our best with the space. I would love to have the tables more spread out so the kids could kind of more have independent time to talk and collaborate without being so on top of each other, because some kids do better with a little bit of separation, but we're trying to do with the best we can, so we kind of being crammed together, and that's not good for some kids that are constant talkers when we need to focus. And then we want to have more space on the ground for when we do learning activities that involve that. So it kind of
big thing is stations too, Ms. Lumber,
Yeah.
because the kids oftentimes are working at their desks, but when they're working in centers and things and rotating through, that's kind of limited too of what you can do because of the smaller classroom size overall. All right, we'll keep going along here. Doing good? All right. Keep coming along here.
You're welcome.
Okay. One of our other kindergarten classrooms there. We'll take a peek in here, Mrs. Wills' classroom. This is our 5th kindergarten classroom as we're coming down this wing of the building. This is another kindergarten classroom. We didn't go in all of them, but you're more than welcome to peek in any of the 5 classrooms that as we come around the building here. This is Mrs. Wills' classroom. Like I said, the teachers do a really nice job of putting work on display, making it colorful and inviting to the students. But once again, you can see that space is kind of limited if you were really trying to do some different project-based learning group work and what we call sometimes our daily 5 of rotating through different centers and stations. Space can be an issue when we're having class sizes of about 22, 23, and some even classes have 24 students in them. So it gets a little overcrowded. But I'm sure as you saw us coming down the hallway, space is an issue with our storage of curriculum materials and Chromebooks and a lot of the teacher resources. Some of the classrooms have some cabinets, but that only goes so far, so we're forced to use the spaces out in the hallway for shelving that's supposed to be for the kids' supplies and different things like that. And the teachers have to use some of that because of storage issues as well.
Are these closets?
Those are closets there. Yep. So there's some, but by the time you put tissues and have all the extra markers and crayons and curriculum materials and student workbooks, it adds up. It adds up quick. Fills up quick, I should say. We're actually going to go back out here. The next room was a room that the custodian and I built about 3 years ago. We have some students that need to use what we call our sensory room, just for a student who needs a break, for a student who needs to kind of reset themselves. We have a sensory room that we built. This room used to be the gym closet area where all the gym supplies were at. We had to move all that out to be able to put a sensory room in to meet some of the sensory needs of our students. So we're going to go in there next. that used to be, the sensory room used to be that whole classroom that we were just in,
Yeah, but this is like a.
but
When there was a little it was all, years, a couple years ago.
we'll go in that next. That's little room 9 here. Yeah, yeah, we'll go in that room next. Yeah.
Trying to remember.
But yeah, this is our sensory room, and we had to get really creative with this because of the fact that we had students who had sensory needs, who had needed to come take a break, who have what we call sensory diets that help them get focused back in for their learning. And we put a swing in just to have a swing break and a crash pad, and just the lights look, appealing to the students for when they're on break in here. But like I said, this room wasn't intended for that. It was intended for to store all of our gym supplies, which is our basketballs, hula hoops, and all that good stuff. And I'll show you soon where we end up having to move all that to make sure we still have spaces for everything. So big beanbag, yeah. Yeah. Also at York, we have our school psychologist comes and works with students. We have our school counselors. We have school social workers, and they come to work with our students with social emotional needs. And unfortunately, there's really no other space for them to be able to go to for the fact that they need a kind of a private, quiet area to be able to talk with the students with some of these. So we still use this room. It's not ideal in here. We call it room 9, but it's just a quiet, small. It used to be a closet, but it's converted counseling room, so to speak, just to make sure we are having a quiet area for the students to either be evaluated or to take an assessment, and to work with our social workers and school counselors. We still use that. When I first started out here, this was just full of supplies, but we found the need to have more space for quiet areas for our students to be able to work and be successful with. So, like I said, we still use this room 9, and I'd like to upgrade it somehow, but it's so difficult with all the carpet and the lack of space. It is small in there, and yeah, padded room. Yeah.
So are those counselors, are they shared across all the buildings, or does like each building have its own?
Yeah, they are shared, but when they come and say, hey, I'm here to work with so-and-so, where can I go? I'm like, well, the library's library today, so that's out of the question. And all the other classrooms are used, our sensory room, so it has to be room 9. So this is like our backup room in case we need it. But like I said, it's small in there, and the ventilation's not really the greatest in there because it's not really supposed to be used for a classroom. It's supposed to be used for storage. So, and we call it room 9. So. All right, we'll keep going along here. Want to talk about our intervention spaces. So we have 2 intervention teachers out here, and our intervention specialists work with our special education students. And oftentimes they are pulled out for pull-out instruction from the general classrooms that we just saw. And we only had 1 intervention specialist room out here when I first started, and we had to build a second one because we have 2 intervention specialists due to the need of our special education students. So you'll take a peek in this room. This is like, I don't know, maybe a quarter-size classroom versus what our full-size classrooms are. And this space is used for our intervention specialists. So you can take a peek there into room 10. So as you can see, when you're pulling multiple students, you can pull up to 4 or 5 students at a time. Ideally, it'd be nice to pull a few more, but due to the space of that room, it has to be pretty limited.
What had it been before that?
Before that, it was kind of an empty room. Our speech pathologist was in there. You saw where her space is out there in the library now. Our speech pathologist used that some days, and then the days she wasn't here, we would try to correspond the schedules for like our counselors and things like that to use more of an open room versus the closet room that's there as we came down the hallway. That's a good question. This officially starts our first grade hallway. So the last kindergarten classroom was there in Mrs. Wills as we came out, and now this is our first grade hallway. We have 5 first grade classrooms as we come down this wing and section of the building. So we'll visit a few classrooms here, and then I'm going to show you the second intervention room. This intervention room was built about 3 years ago because of the fact that we had to hire an additional intervention specialist due to the need to need one out here. And this used to be this area that we're going to go into next used to be just a shelving area where library books and extra stories for the kids would be stored at, just that they could read and take home with them as part of like our 100-book challenge. But that all had to get shoved down to the end, that side of the building, so that way we could put another classroom in here. So we'll take a peek in there next. So this used to be all just opened up, and you'd be able to walk straight out. This is the front side of the building where the front schoolyard's at, and the sign. And our maintenance team, our wonderful maintenance team, built this room. We call it Room 17. It's drywalled, and we put doors on that side prior to having a second set of double doors before you go to the exterior side. But like I said, this is our second intervention room that we added just 3 years ago, and once again, not very big, but at least a space for now where we can pull students to work on their IEP goals and that sort of thing. So feel free to take a peek in there.
So beyond the doors, just a foyer basically.
A little small foyer, yeah, about 4-foot foyer, and then there's doors that go to the outside. Yes. Like I said, this used to just be opened up where we had shelves like this in here. Stuff down and pushing things around to make the space and make it work. Take a peek into one of our first grade classes here. One of our first grade classes. We have class sizes about 20, average 23. There's a few classes that have 24, but like I said, we're at about 212 students here at York.
And is that just between kindergarten and first grade?
Kindergarten and first grade. Mm-hmm. Yep, 5 kindergarten classrooms and 5 first grade classrooms. Mm-hmm.
Is that all of the kindergarten and first graders?
No, we have two. We have East Elementary
Okay.
is also kindergarten and first grade, and they're about the same size. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's split. With the way the city works, we have York gets all the West End students, the York students and South End students, and then East gets the central area of New Philly and as well as East End. So the way it's split up. It kind of equalizes itself out for at least class sizes and the number of students attending those buildings. And then they really funnel, and it gets large as they all funnel to one building as they go to south. So the size of the classes double because you're going from about 200 students in each of these buildings to about 400 when you go to south. Any other questions so far? Okay. Yeah, we're going this way. We'll keep funneling around this way. Like I said, you see all the storage with our new curriculum that we have this year. There's a lot of pieces and components to it. You can see the use of the shelf space primarily for that curriculum. All right, I guess the next area is where we spent the most money recently, is down the basement and getting our new boiler system, furnace unit. We just got that back in January installed. We didn't have heat here for a while. We had to rent a portable heating unit that was hooked up outside to funnel through the building until we got a new heating system put in just in January. That was That was a $112,000 purchase to make sure we had nice flowing heat throughout the winter, and we're fortunate that we were able to get that installed relatively quickly, so that way we can keep the building warm throughout the winter months. So we'll go down there next. So we're gonna not go venture off too far because of the basement. It's your typical basement. So, but we'll go down there, and Mr. Perkins is the pro down there. So if you have any questions about that, you can direct those to him there. So, all right, we'll go down there next.
That's what I tell them too. They are solid.
Dory, you've never been down here. You ready?
That's what she just said, Mom, I've never been down there.
So as you can see, we have a brand new unit here, just installed in January of this year. So this is, like I said, we were fortunate to get this installed just in time for the real cold days to hit. The basement's also twofold here with more storage. Store things for the teachers and the staff, so that way we're not too clogged up in the main hallways. So a lot of the things end up getting put down here. Mr. Perkins, anything else about our new system and unit here that you
Yeah,
else to share?
some of this stuff I can show you the other room. You can see there's a big piece of cast iron here that's 87 years old. That was the whole system. That's why it's weight. And this is all sealed up. So it's not like something you can take this in and check. Which is only a fire break there. Yeah, that's probably going to stay here. Yeah, that line cut out, yeah, oil was in here, oil in, all this was oil in. I can show you the lower, if you want to see the pushing the air, the old girl. Back here, look right, a couple.
So we got this pipe running essentially into the blower to blow, make sure it's getting dispersed, the heat is getting dispersed throughout the building and not just one side is getting heat.
That's the unit, that's our airflow right there. No, that's been there quite a while, yeah. What it does, it flows into that heat chamber where I was standing. It flows, it forces the air back up to the ductwork, and that's how we get the air to the building. There's more of the old cast iron, and you see the old fire brick that was in there. Yeah, it's been there for a long time. Hey, Mr. Maurer.
It took a little bit of trial and error, but we have it kind of synced up now fairly well. And this is actually not even for the whole building. We still have one section of the building that's still on the old boiler
Yeah, the
system.
first two rooms
The
you
first
come
two
in
rooms as you
are
come
on
in.
one boiler, and this is on the other one.
Yep.
And then, if you want, if you go back there and look to the right, you'll see the old well that we run on. That's where you'll see the water and the old tanks.
Yeah, I guess it would have to be well up.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
City water.
And with these old pipes, every once in a while, our water turns a little orange.
A little orange, you gotta let it run for
Yeah.
let it run for a little while.
Instead of it kicks up.
Well, luckily for drinking water, we have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our toilets look like that, but luckily for drinking, we have freaking filtration.
Oh, yeah.
To make sure we're getting the highest quality water we can get to drink while we're here.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah, they'll help pull it around and go, something's wrong.
Now you really have fun.
Did you hear it? Because it's got the chain and the weight in here. Yeah, it had to be in one of the Saw movies. I'm pretty sure it was. Go here and open your clothes. It sounds just like it.
Wow, this place is simple.
Made it back up.
Show them the new
So
first
far.
unit.
Probably a lot more room down there.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, last part we'll go to. Like I said, these are our last three first grade classrooms to wrap up this wing of the building. I would like to take us up onto the stage. The stage is where we have a lot of our teacher supplies. Our specials teachers are up there, which is our gym, music, art, and literacy teachers. They share office space up there, and as well as the overflow of storage. I know stages are supposed to be for performances, but our stage unfortunately turned into storage area, as well as office spaces for all of those gym items that had to get moved out of the gym closet there for the sensory room. And just really, it was a catch-all because we were like, we don't know where to put this stuff. We have to make a sensory room. We have to create a classroom. We have things that we need to get out somewhere else, but we need to keep them relevant because they need to be readily available. And it goes up onto the stage. So we'll go up on the stage, and at that point, if there's any other questions, I'll take those at that time.
Do you want the restrooms being clear off to the side?
Restrooms, yes, I do want to point that out. Restrooms are tough here. Like I said, with over 200 students and only having one girls' bathroom and one boys' bathroom. So if you are a kindergarten student in that very first room on that far side of the building, the boys' bathroom is all the way on this side of the building. And this is the only option for boys' bathroom here in the school. So to even get the students to go to the bathroom and get back to class in a timely manner is an issue because of the lack of bathroom space for our kids. So we had to get kind of creative. We have scheduled bathroom times where we try to have the kids go because that's your scheduled bathroom time and that's where it's not going to be too crowded. And obviously if you have to go anytime else, we allow that, but it gets tricky because if a class is down here on a bathroom time and we have 5 kids coming from another classroom, it gets really, believe it or not, it gets really hectic down here. So we'll go up on the stage. I'll show you a few of those spaces as we wrap up. Going up on the stage here is our last Saw videos. Rest of them coming up. So we have our art teacher, we have our PE teacher, our gym teacher, our literacy teacher, and our technology teacher all up here as their office spaces, as well as the supplies that go along with their classrooms, which is now all of the gym things. We built a shelving unit over there. 'Cause like I said, it used to be down there in our sensory room, so all those things got moved up here. The art cabinets got moved up to here. Our teacher laminator's now up here with the construction paper and things like that. So unfortunately, can't really use it as a stage because it has to be stored with all of our things that we use on a regular basis here. So I mean, as you can really see, Go, no, yeah, you're fine. Go ahead.
What about, where is like the teacher's room to make copies of
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah, that was as we came in, and I can take you through there to show you. That was right when you come into the right. That's the first opening on the right. There's a small little room. It's very small. There's one table in there with about 10 or 12 chairs for the teacher's lounge, and then a copier. So and a refrigerator on the far side. So that space is pretty crammed in there as well. That's right when you come into the front part of the building at door 1. You can feel free as we exit here to take a peek into that room. That's, like I said, that's on the way back out to door 1. So
So you can really see the commonality of having no space here for teachers and for our students. So